Welcome to my basic tutorials on how to use the console commands to build your own settlement or house. The question is, when will you want to do it? For my case, I want to place a turret directly above my gates on this settlement. However, when I try to build more rooms into the settlement, it doesn't let me build on both ways. Even if it sometimes appears to have enough space, the game still thinks that you can't build there. So with the console commands, you can place any objects or buildings wherever you want. And if you don't mind, you can also creep some buildings into the existing walls. Let's get into how can we do it. So first, you would like to have a referencing building. Say,
sure there isn't someone more
you want. For my case, the building would be the room with the turret above the main gate. After you have a referencing building, you can open the console and select the building by clicking on it. But pay attention, the game may not always think you are selecting what you are clicking. You may end up selecting something behind the walls. So you have to save all the time so you don't mess up, and if you mess up, you can still load your save. So firstly, you select the building, and then you can in the console you can type get angle Z, and then you can get the angle of the building, and then you get your position by typing get POS, and that will get you the position on the x-axis if you type get pos X and get pos Y. These two coordinates is very important if you end up moving your building to somewhere you don't know, and you can use these referencing numbers to get the building back to here. And then you can use the mod command. Say you modify the angle on the Z axis by 40 degrees. As you can see, it will spin the building for 40 degrees. If you put minus 60 degrees, it will spin it at another direction. And so that you can move the building until until you think it is at a perfect position. And then you can modify the position on the x-axis. As you can see, if you move 10 units, it will move it at a certain direction. If the object end up moving at an opposite direction, you can just put a minus into the console before the number, so you can move it in another direction, as you can see in the example here. Now you can see why you need to put the get angle Z inside. As you can see, the X and Y angle is 0. But if you can also modify the angle on the X and Y axis to make it like the building is crumbling into the ground, as you can see here. And that's why you need to, when you modify, no matter is the angle or the position, you need to put the X, Y or Z, because there's a free axis you can move. However, as you can see, if you try to use the auto attach function to attach something in there, it will still put the new building as it will not adjust the angle if you move if you modify the X or Y axis on the angle. Then say you have a box here, and then you want to build another box, attaching to it. However, say you want to build inside into the wall, but the game doesn't let you. So you need to find a place to place another building first, and then you exit the building menu, because I think the outlines of the building is avoiding me to get some very accurate positioning. Now you type TCL after you deselect everything on your screen, so you can move freely into the air. It is easier to move around and adjusting different objects. Now you click on the current object, and then you get angle on the ZSS. As you can see, it's minus 355, and then you open your calculator and minus it for 180 degrees, and then you select another object you want to attach, and then you set angle. This time you set angle instead of modify. When you set an angle, it will it will just give the building the angle that you put behind it, instead of just adding or subtracting a certain angle. If you modify, it's adding or subtracting the number you put behind it. If you set an angle or set a position, it will just give the object the position or angle you put behind the command. Say now, after minus 180 degrees, you can say it is 173. Now you put set angle Z 173.91, and it will put if you put the object at the opposite direction comparing to your existing building, so the wall won't facing the wrong direction. Now you want to bring the second building into you. Now you get position X and get position Y for the referencing coordinates, and then you modify the position by say 50. And if you see it moves at the right direction, you can keep moving the object until it's close enough, and then you can start to move. As you can see, after you bring it in, the angle is still not very correct, because the further the objects, the more the angle will be different from the existing building. So you will need to adjust it again. As you can see here, these two boxes is using the auto attaching. However, when you get angle on them, as you can see, the angle will still have a slight difference. As you can see, one is 0.81 and one is 0.19 at the end of the decimal. So as you can see, even if using auto attach, the angle will still have a slight difference. So you will have to adjust the angle again later. But now you are putting two objects closer to each other. It's easier to watch if they attach it to each other perfectly. Now you start to modify the object, and if you see the object is moving at the wrong direction, you can just put a minus into it, so it will move at the opposite direction. Now you want to adjust the height of the two objects. Just open your flashlight if you are at night. So, and then again click on the existing object and get the position of the ZSS. So you can see it's 767, and then you select another object you want to adjust, and then you set the position. of the STI of the object's STSX to the same number. It will bring the two objects into the same height, and then you can start to modify the angle and the position again, as you can see here. If you find this moving in the wrong direction, just instead of putting a positive number, just put in a negative number, so it will move it at another direction. Same goes for the positioning. If the position is wrong, you can just, instead of putting a positive number, you can put in a negative number. Now you can just adjust the position little by little until they move close enough to each other. Now they are creeping into each other. We want to separate them. You can keep on modifying the position of the X and Y axis, as you can see here. And now, if the two objects, the gap is narrow enough, you can start to make the angle of the object perfect. Like, as you can see, it's now the two buildings is close enough with a little narrow gap. You can now adjust the angle. If you don't need to be pixel perfect, this will do. But if you want to adjust it to very perfect, you can also put in numbers like 0.5 or even 0.25. You can actually put 2 decimal places. So you can really make it pixel perfect for the two buildings you want to attach to each other. Now it's nearly perfect for the two objects. Now you can keep on modify angle, modify the positioning until you think it is perfect for your taste. You can the angle and the position both can be modified by 0.5 or even 0.1 if you want to be very perfect. Now because you are in the TCL mode, you will not collide with anything, so you can move around the area freely to have a better angle on where to adjust the two buildings. Now as you can see, after you perfectly place them, you can attach more buildings onto it, and it will be a lot easier now to just adjust the buildings. If you really want to be placing the buildings perfectly, it may cost you a lot of time. As you can see, I am just adjusting one building, and it takes like 10 to 15 minutes. But after you get the hang of it, and sometimes you can use the auto attach function, you can easily do it. And here is another example of moving some normally cannot be moved objects, like the first aid kit. Again, firstly you want to get the position of X and Y for the referencing coordinates, and then you get the angle of you can also get the angle of the object for referencing, and then you can start to modify the angles and position of these objects. Say you want to put the first aid kit onto the wall on the right hand side, you can just modify the angle by 90 degrees. Now it's facing the other direction, and then you just like the buildings, you can just modify the position. If the position is if the object is moving in the wrong direction, you can just put in a negative number instead of a positive number. And then you deselect the object, and then you enter TCL mode to disable the collision of your character, and then you can walk into the wall and to see if the object is actually attaching onto the wall. And then you adjust the object's Z is the height of the object. Say you want the first aid kit to be above the bed, you can just adjust modify the Z position until it is high enough. As you can see here, it's actually not attaching into the wall, so you can keep on adjusting the position until you find the first aid kit is actually touching the wall. Say now you think the first aid kit should not be directly above the bed. You want to move the first aid kit back to another wall. Now you can just modify the angle again for 270 degrees. Again, it will face to our direction again. So now you can modify the position for the first aid kit. Say you mess up and put a very large number and you don't know where the first aid kit have gone, you can just use the set position command to move the first aid kit back to the original place, because before you adjust the object, you already get the position of X, Y, and the angle. If you really mess up, you can use those numbers to get the object back to your site instead of putting it elsewhere and you will never find it again. Now, as you can see, you can just modify your position of X and Y until it is actually attaching to the wall. Thanks to the disabling the collision, you can walk into the wall and actually see how much if the first aid kit is actually touching the wall. Now, as you can see, the first aid kit is moving into the wall. You can just put the numbers like 0.5 to make it a little bit on the outside. So now you can see it's perfect. So thanks for watching.